Alright, let's talk about post plants a little bit. In our scrims earlier, we clearly lost a bunch of fucking post plant positions that shouldn't have happened, shouldn't have lost. And I'm pretty sure it's due to the fact that we're just playing them wrong. So, there's three different types of post plants. There's a post plant where you're at a man advantage, post plant when the numbers are the same, and post plant in which they have a man advantage. But the way you play them all is different. The way you play man advantage and equal numbers is kind of the same, but when you're playing at a man disadvantage, the way you have to play it is a little bit different. So I'll start off by talking about playing with a man advantage. Say you've taken a site on Mirage. Say you've taken a site. Say it's, you know, you've got smokes here. Oh, that was too far. You got a bunch of smokes, you know, you have a bunch of smokes down, and you've got the site, and you've got a chance to plant the bomb, and you plant the bomb wherever. The number one thing to having a successful post plant is having a good bomb plant. You know, you want the bomb to be planted for something, you know, planned for as many things as possible. The best plant, I think, is right here from Mirage, because you can see it from ramp and you can see it from Palace. You kind of want it to be planted like,
I am planting the bomb.
I think in the corner of the box, or like right here, sort of. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but somewhere in this general area is where you want it, so that you can see it from Palace and ramp. But once you have the bomb planted, especially if you have a man advantage, then you don't want to push anything. You want to fall back into like established post plant positions where you have crossfires and you can support each other and you can all peek together so that you don't end up losing. The last thing you want to do is push something by yourself. Like playing CT is okay. Pushing all the way through CT over here isn't okay. You're giving the CTs a 1v1 engagement, and that's what they want. They want an engagement that's going to allow them to, you know, an engagement that they can win so they can even up the numbers so they can have a more balanced post plant. Because having a post plant in 4v4 or less is always in favor of the terrorists. 5v5, it's arguable, but 4v4 or less, 4v4 post plant or less, usually in favor of the terrorists. So, like, once you get the bomb down, you don't, like, you want to fall back and you don't want to stay in the site. Like, probably one of the worst post plant positions you can have is to plant it right here and then just stay, like, in the site here. Because you're not playing off your teammates. And this is going to be like literally the first place that every CT is going to look. They're going to look for the guy who planted the bomb. So like every CT is going to know you're there. Like if you're just hiding here, they can molly you out, and they can nade the shit out of you, and they can give you a real pain in the ass. It's like the moment you plant the bomb, sometimes it's dangerous, but you really just want to fall back into a good spot. You know, you use your nades if you haven't, like, you know, use some, like if you haven't used your smoke yet, to smoke something common off and then just fall back into a good spot. Like I said, good spots are any spot that the bomb is planted for. So in this case, you fall back to ramp, fall back to Palace, even fall back to like Sandwich is okay. Underdog's also, it's an okay spot if you're like right here. But you want to be able to all hit you want to all be able to like shoot at the guy defusing the bomb from a bunch of different angles, and you want to be able to set up crossfires for literally anywhere that they could be. So like, if it's like ramp and Palace can set up a crossfire on this guy, and on this guy, and on pretty much anybody in the site. So that's why those are like the best places to play. Other good post plant positions to play are Tetris. I guess here, not really. Like again, you can get naded here and you can get mollied out. So again, not the greatest spot, but plays like that. And I think the number one thing that people aren't aware of when you're playing a post plant is that someone has to watch behind you. Like, the ramp guy has to actually be worried about people coming from through T-spawn behind them, and the Palace guy, the same thing applies. So like, usually, like one of the biggest common mistakes that you have when you're coming in and you're taking a site together is you're taking a site together and you all rush the site, and you all get in the sites, and then you have like 4 people around the bomb, and then you get surrounded. You know, then you get surrounded by CTs who are trying to retake it, and then you can't fall back to the good post plant spots effectively without having to risk dying. So normally it's a good idea to have 1 or 2 people not push the site completely, and especially like hold flashes and stuff for your teammates. For example, like if you're in like equal numbers, or if you have a man advantage, you don't really want to do this. But if you're in equal numbers, a common thing to do is when you have like a smoke. Let's say you have a smoke down CT.
I'm throwing smoke.
And you know there's some guy. You know some guy's there because he's spamming the smoke, or or there's like an opera. You hear him scoping. One thing you can do is you can have your teammate get close here, and you can have the guy that's playing ramp. He'll ask for a flash ramp, so you can pop flash ramp like that, or pop flash CT like something like that, and get basically the free kill on the guy that's in spawn. I mean, this flash is gonna get him. Unless he's behind this box, this flash is going to get him everywhere. Maybe you want to get a little more deep. But flashes like those, like that kind of team chemistry is really important when you're having a post plant. Because this really simple, you know, hey, can you flash spawn? Like that's not much better flash. That's like the perfect one. Especially when there's a smoke here, because they're not going to see the flash coming through. So it's like, it's perfect. But hey, can you flash spawn so that you can peek this, and the guys are guaranteed going to be blind as long as it's a good flash. Plays like those can easily turn a retake with equal numbers into a man advantage for you. Like, obviously you don't want to push by yourself just unnecessarily, but making plays like that can just give you a free frag. And then once you have man advantage in a post plant, you should automatically win. So yeah, when you're taking a site, not everybody should push out into the site. Somebody should stay behind and watch the flank, or stay. Or not even just watch the flank, just to stay in a good post plant spot afterwards. Like the only time they need to push out into the site is if everybody else who pushed out into the site died. But in realistic terms, there should only be 2 people, max 3 CTs, who are defending the site. So 2, maybe 3 people, even 4. Like, these guys can still fight. They just don't want to push completely. So as long as you're coordinated enough and they don't stop your take completely, and if you get the site successfully, then these guys will already be set up in a good spot for the retake, and makes it basically impossible for the CTs to do a retake. Like they'll need a lot of nades, and they'll need a lot of hit a lot of nut shots in order for it to happen. Now this basically covered like everything. The first 2, they covered being at a man advantage and being at equal numbers. When you're at a man disadvantage, it's a little more complicated, because obviously, like if their whole team just pushes together, it's going to be, 3. Like say it's a 2v3, then it'll be their 3 against your 2, and they can have one guy designated to tap the bomb. Especially if they have nades, especially if they have smokes and they know that you're playing in these positions, they can smoke you out of your good post plant spots, and then it gets a little more complicated. Or they can molly you out. If they have smokes and mollies left over, then it can be a little more complicated. And when they have a man advantage on you, they can do stuff like this, and it forces you to push out, or it forces you to just stay there, and then you won't be able to see a guy tap the bomb. And once a guy taps the bomb, you have to run through a smoke or run through a molly, and that's a lot more difficult. That's how you use nades in a retake and get frags, because they have to run through a smoke and they don't know exactly what's going on. They don't know where people are. So when they're at a man advantage, chances are they'll have some nades left, and they'll be able to just make plays like this and just grind it out, just trade it out. So when you're at a man disadvantage after you've already planted the bomb, if you have a good plant, you have to do something coordinated. You have to push something, and you have to push something together in hopes that you'll get like a 1v1, or like a even 2v1, like your 2 guys can peek a guy together, get a 1v1 or a 2v1, even up the numbers, and then you can play the retake as if it was equal numbers. Like I said, you can do something very similar where if there's a smoke down, say there's a smoke down here instead.
Smoke.
And there's one guy just behind that smoke spamming the smoke. You guys can just get together and just,
Flashback.
something like that. Go through the smoke, get your kill, get the frag, and then just play together. Set up a crossfire and play together. But yeah, when you have a post plant, like when you have the bomb planted and when you have a man advantage or you have equal numbers, as long as it's not a 5v5, you should always win. Like the terrorists should always win in realistic terms. Like it takes good discipline, and it takes good technique in order to not flub a retake, especially when there's that many players coming at you. But if you're set up well and you have the crossfires and you have the you know, you have the thing set up where you're like, all right, this guy, everybody peek when I shoot. You know, when you have the chemistry, it starts to become a lot easier. You know, I mean, the reality is you have CTs coming in and they're being exposed from every angle in the site, and as long as everybody peeks together, it should be easy frags. So that's what I'd like to see from our team. I would definitely like to see us stop losing post plants that we've already. I'd like to see us stop losing post plants when we should be winning them, and this is a better idea of how to play them. So.